Lighting is a huge source of energy use. It is on average 11% of a home's total energy consumption and 20 to 25% of all electricity consumed in the United States. Lighting energy costs can be 5 to 10% of a household energy budget, and over 50% of the energy used for lighting is typically wasted due to inefficient bulbs, inadequate maintenance, or inefficient use of lighting. This module will discuss lighting measurement, types of lighting, types of light bulbs or lamps, the effects of dimming, daylighting, and tips to save energy on lighting. An important term to know when referring to lighting is the lumen. All light bulbs or lamps are rated in lumens, and there are three important features listed on a package: the lumen output, or light output, the power consumption of the bulb in watts when it's running, and the life of the bulb in hours. All three of these features are very important and helpful when selecting a bulb for different applications. In case you're curious, and I'm sure you are, a foot candle is actually the standard unit of measure for light on a surface. A foot candle is equal to 1 lumen of light distributed over 1 square foot area from 1 foot away. The average foot candle level on a surface is then equal to the amount of lumens striking the surface divided by the area of the surface. There are three different types of tasks that are used to design appropriate lighting: ambient, task, and accent lighting. How much light is needed depends on the task being performed in a space, as well as the contrast, the size of the space, etc. Lighting needs to be also dependent on the age of occupants and the nature of the task, for example, for reading, navigating stairs, or watching television. Efficient lighting has a lot to do with using just the right amount of light for a given task. In ambient lighting, for general purpose, we talk about lighting in rooms and hallways for general safety and security. For task lighting, however, we have lighting designed for specific tasks like reading or cooking. Task lighting is typically brighter than ambient lighting, but hopefully directed in small areas and is typically turned off when not in use. Accent lighting is the lighting used to highlight certain objects or areas in a home, for example, a painting, a particular wall, stairs, or an outdoor feature. Light bulbs are also called lamps. As you're likely aware, there are many different choices for light bulbs in homes. To provide useful advice about saving energy with light bulbs, it's important to understand the basic differences between them. In this section, we'll discuss the key features of incandescent bulbs, compact fluorescent bulbs, LEDs, and high-intensity discharge light bulbs. Most people are used to buying incandescent light bulbs based on wattage: 100 watts for a bright one, 60 watts for one that's not as bright, etc. When replacing an incandescent bulb with one of another type, the goal should be to find an alternative with the same lighting output in lumens and hopefully a higher efficacy or efficiency. This table compares three light bulbs according to the wattage, or how much energy in watts is used when the light is on, lumens, which is how much light is actually produced by the bulb, and efficacy, the measure of efficiency of the bulb in lumens per watt. So the base case would be this incandescent bulb you'd be looking to improve, and the CFL bulb produces the same light level, 550 lumens, but for much fewer watts and therefore a much higher efficacy. The LED light bulb shown is not really comparable because it doesn't produce the same amount of lumens as the other two. Compact fluorescents, or CFL lamps, create light through an electrical arc that reacts to the coating of the bulb to create light. There's a great variety of CFL lamps available with many applications. Some of the important features include the fact that CFLs use much less energy per lumen than incandescent alternatives. They also tend to last 10 to 20 times longer. They can replace almost any size or shape of incandescent, and there are dimming versions available, but they do tend to be more expensive. The light color of CFLs is also cooler or more blue than incandescents, and they do contain mercury and must be disposed of properly. Many of them contain warning labels to remind us of this, and Home Depot typically accepts a compact fluorescent or any fluorescent lights for proper recycling. High-intensity discharge, or HID lamps, are similar to fluorescence in that light is produced with an arc between two electrodes. The arc in an HID source is typically shorter, but generates much more light and heat, as well as pressure within the arc tube. 4 types of increasing order of efficiency of HID lights are mercury vapor, halogen, high-pressure sodium, and low-pressure sodium. Some advantages of HID lights include a relatively long life, a relatively high lumen output per watt, and that they're relatively small in size. Some disadvantages would be that they are often requiring some time to warm up and have variable color rendering. In homes, the most common HID source you'll encounter will be halogen lights in reading lamps or small track lighting. LEDs, or light-emitting diodes, have only recently become inexpensive and high quality enough for use in domestic lighting. LEDs consist of a chip of semiconducting material and an electronic control. LED lamps can be made interchangeable with many other lamps. There are bulbs with clusters of LEDs that can be used to replace incandescent or fluorescent lamps. Many LED lamps are made with identical bases so that they are directly interchangeable with incandescence or fluorescence. You can also stitch them into clothing for nighttime paintball battles or Super Bowl halftime show costumes. When considering how to upgrade lighting, there are a few variables to consider in addition to the output of the bulb, especially the amount of time a bulb is actually in use. This chart shows how energy savings for changing one 75-watt incandescent bulb in comparison to a 20-watt compact fluorescent bulb, and how those two can vary. Notice that if the light bulb is only used for 2 hours a day, the level of savings over a number of years is not that impressive. However, if the bulb is used in a high use space for 4 to 12 hours a day, it can actually pay for itself very quickly over the first year. As a result, lighting upgrades should really be targeted at locations where homeowners spend most of their time. Dimming lights can also be a great way to save energy. In this example from the Lutron website and their cool interactive tool for calculating the impact of dimming, you can see a good example of this. In this dining room, with the light level dimmed by 38%, a resulting reduction in electricity cost of 30% can be achieved with a 5-year savings of about $60. Windows and skylights are often thought of as ways to save energy because of their use of natural lighting. This is referred to as daylighting. Unfortunately, while lighting level may be reduced, windows and skylights are typically net energy losers because they're weak points in the home's thermal boundary. To counteract this effect, high-quality windows are very important investments. Also, cellular or insulating blinds can be very useful and can save energy by helping to close off windows at night or when you're away. They come in very many shapes and sizes and are typically available at most Home Depot and Lowe's type stores. There's also new and affordable types of storm windows that can be added to the inside or outside of existing windows, and these can be very helpful in improving the efficiency of older windows that might be too costly to replace. In summary, here are the best ways to save energy on lighting. First of all, make good use of natural lighting, and you might also consider using light colored paint or reflective paint to help maximize the use of daylighting. And don't forget to have blinds or curtains to help reduce the loss of energy through the window at nighttime and when you're not at home. It's also important to reduce background or ambient levels of light and flooding rooms with light, and try to focus more on task lighting and concentrating light only where it's needed for specific tasks. When possible, incandescent bulbs should be switched to complex fluorescents and LEDs, and this is the simplest way to have significant savings on electricity bills. If you can't get in the habit of turning lights off, think about installing motion detectors or light sensors that help turn lights off and on as you enter and leave a room, and only have the light on at the appropriate times. Timers and dimming switches are also valuable ways to save energy on lighting.